On Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. Big changes are underway in Bloomington as the city takes a major step forward, a historic first meeting. Trade tensions are heating up between Canada and the U.S. as new tariffs loom. Deadlines are approaching and big talks are underway. Plus, a shocking road confrontation, a deadly attack on lawmakers, and a chilling kidnapping attempt, all raising fears about political violence.
And this morning, Hurricane Eric has officially dissipated, but we do still have a little plume of tropical moisture moving through the Gulf that's going to bring us some more tropical showers today and next week. All that in the weather coming up.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads. Happy Friday. Happy summer solstice.
That's right.
So technically it starts at 10 p.m., around 10 p.m. tonight.
Oh, is that really? Is there actually a time frame on
There
that?
is a time frame, yeah.
Huh, I didn't know that. Well,
Ooh.
Yeah, she's found some coughs this
I
morning.
think this coffee has dried up my mouth.
Maybe the coffee. See what I did there?
Very punny.
No, yes, we do have some more heat coming away because it is summertime. I'm sure y'all noticed that. And if you don't believe me, we'll step your foot out the door for just a moment. It's Class 6 South Texas weather for y'all. 77 is what we're starting at right now in Victoria. Dew point's at 76. Pretty humid out there. I'm sure you know humidity is at 96 actually percent to be exact. But if you combine that with the calm to light winds we have right now, that's providing the chance to see a little bit of light patchy fog around the crossroads. So please be careful if you're hitting the roads this morning. You might maybe see a little bit of light fog. I don't think there was any dense fog out there. That's the good news with dew points in the upper 70s right now. But looking at your radar with it so humid right now and all the tropical moisture still kind of moving in over our heads, we have some rain out there right now to talk about. And it's all really light and all spotty right now in nature. I should say a little bit of it coming up towards right around El Campo over the next 10 minutes. Also coming up towards Moulton over the next 10 minutes as well. And we do have one stronger shower headed up towards Ostwell and maybe Seadrift over the next 10 to 15 minutes. So y'all get ready for that. But for the rest of today, we have more shower chances. So go ahead and grab the umbrella if you're headed out the door for your Friday, and also stay cool with the heat. We'll have all those details coming up next.
Rockport police are investigating after a man's body was recovered from Rockport Harbor on Thursday. Police say they got a call about someone in the water just after 1 in the afternoon. Early details suggest the man had been fishing from a pier before the incident, but it's still unclear how he ended up in the water. The man's identity is not being released at this time while authorities notify the family. Bloomington held its first city council meeting since they incorporated on June 7th. On the agenda was appointing a mayor pro tem and setting the next meeting date. Councilmember Sarah Stint will serve as mayor pro tem to fill in for Mayor Bernadette Walker in her absence. And Stint says the incorporation is a huge step for Bloomington and it could help bring the city closer together.
It's kind of a big weight on me to step up, but I'm ready for it.
The next scheduled meeting is at 7 p.m. on July 25th. Their plan is to tackle issues such as city ordinances, raising money for the city, and discussions with the Drainage Board. Bowling ISD's board president Jerry Svatek has officially resigned. It comes after his arrest earlier this week on a felony charge of possessing child pornography involving a victim under 10. Homeland Security led the investigation with help from DPS, the Texas Rangers, and the Wharton County Sheriff's Office. The district says the board will decide how to fill the vacancy at an upcoming meeting. Canada is pushing back against U.S. trade policies with new steel tariffs set to kick in on July 21st. The move targets countries without free trade deals with Canada, which includes the U.S., and could make American steel less attractive to Canadian buyers. Right now, the U.S. is hitting Canadian steel and aluminum with a 50% duty. Both sides are hoping to sort out things within the next 30 days after talks with this week's G7 summit. Meanwhile, a pause on the U.S. president's so-called reciprocal tariffs is set to expire on July 9th. Thursday, a federal appeals court extended an order involving President Trump. It allows him to keep using the National Guard in response to immigration protest in Los Angeles. In its decision, a 3-judge panel on the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals unanimously concluded it was likely Trump lawfully exercised his authority in federalizing control of the Guard, citing violence at the protest as a valid reason for federalizing the Guard. Now to the rising concern about political violence. Days after the attacks in Minnesota, a frightening case in Ohio. ABC's Lionel Moisey has the latest.
This morning, a disturbing encounter on the road amid a disturbing increase in political violence nationwide.
You have an issue? Take it to our office. You want to run me off the road? That's a different story.
Ohio Congressman Max Miller, who is Jewish, says a man tried to run him off the road waving a Palestinian flag.
Some unhinged, deranged man decided to lay on his horn and run me off the road when he couldn't get my attention to show me a Palestinian flag. Not to mention death to Israel, death to me, that he wanted to kill me and my family.
Congressman Steve Scalise, who was shot during a congressional baseball practice in 2017, responded, saying political violence has no place in this country. It comes after the targeted attacks on Minnesota lawmakers last weekend by a gunman posing as a police officer. State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband fatally shot in their home. State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette also shot. John was shot 9 times and remains in critical condition. Yvette, shot 8 times, is now out of the hospital. The couple saying their daughter shared with the 911 operator that Senator John Hoffman had been shot at his home. Her brave actions and quick thinking triggered the notice to public safety officials that a politically motivated act was potentially underway. Police say the shooter was carrying a hit list of 45 lawmakers when he was arrested. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz now saying the state should reconsider allowing firearms into the state capitol. Meanwhile, in Memphis, Tennessee, a man is charged with trying to kidnap the mayor. He allegedly went to the mayor's home to confront him about crime. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
A fiery setback for SpaceX. Its Starship rocket exploded late Wednesday night, lighting up the sky with a towering fireball just moments before its 10th test flight. The vehicle suffered what SpaceX describes as a major anomaly around 11, triggering the blast during final launch preparations. No injuries were reported and nearby communities remain safe. The company is now working closely with local officials to investigate the cause. Remember, follow us on YouTube, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. The time is now 6:38. Just getting a look at our clock up here on our Friday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. One organization is helping those who can't escape one problem buzzing around the crossroads.
Iran's foreign minister meeting with diplomats from across Europe. I'm ABC's Inez de la Catera in Paris, and I'll have all the latest coming up.
And also coming up next after the break in the short-term forecast, like you heard me say earlier, rain chances are coming back today. So coming up next, I'll tell you just when I think the rain will be here. Well, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Friday. It's weekend time, y'all. You look alive in Cuero. We are still quite warm and humid out there, and it is actually still humid enough to see a little bit of that light fog. And you can actually see some of it right here on the camera, right over the trees where there's more water transpiration happening with the plants. So if you see any of that light fog on the roads this morning, just make sure to be careful. Otherwise, that fog will burn off at around 8 a.m. like it usually does, down to some mostly sunny, maybe slash partly cloudy skies. But we're starting at a nice warm 79 degrees, but with that humidity on top of it, making it a little bit less comfortable. But on top of that, with the humidity so high and a little bit of lift thanks to tropical moisture still flooding over our heads, we've got some rain still out there right now. And like I said earlier, it's all really spotty and all very, very light right now, except for this one little shower cluster coming up towards Ostwell over the next 10-15 minutes. So y'all get ready for that. Otherwise, everybody get ready for more rain chances today, because chances are at, again, actually, I'm going to go ahead and say weather today is going to be very similar to yesterday in terms of temperatures, rain chances, wind speeds, sky cover, everything today. Looking at your future tracker, you're going to see all of that somewhere between, just like yesterday, 10 a.m. all the way to 4, maybe 5 p.m. We're going to see some isolated showers and maybe a few weak non-severe thunderstorms forming around the area before, like I said earlier, that'll cut off at around 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. and we're looking mostly sunny for the rest of the day. And if you do see any heavy rain, it might pick up a quick half to maybe 3/4 of an inch of rain, so turn around and don't drown if you see any kind of maybe flooded roadways. But the rain chances will cut off this weekend, and then they're back next week. We'll look what that's about coming up next.
Happy Friday morning here, Crossroads. We had two types of local events here in the Crossroads. First with Bay City High School, that hosted the Kings of the South tournament, which had a lineman challenge and an afternoon 7-on-7 tournament. Some of the teams that competed there, like I mentioned, were Bay City, El Campo, Yoakum, and Tidehaven. And two of those teams in Tidehaven and Bay City, they're competing in the state 7-on-7 tournament there next week in College Station. And Tidehaven overall in today's competition finished second in the lineman challenge and lost to Stafford there 28-21, and then beat Bay City there 34-14. How about their Victoria Generals there last night? They played the Baton Rouge Rougarou in game one. They lost this one 12-1 in that one. And for the Rougarou, they had Zeb Ruddle and Josh Rochelle. They had 7 RBIs there in total. And Generals, they're going to look to get back in action there tomorrow night there at Riverside if they can get the job done. This is Max Williams, 25 News Now Sports.
Now to the crisis in the Middle East. President Trump says he'll decide within 2 weeks whether to launch military strikes. Inez de la Cotera has the latest from Paris.
This morning, as the world waits to see if the U.S. will get pulled into the conflict in the Middle East, President Trump with a new deadline, saying he'll decide within 2 weeks whether to strike Iran. Israel is vowing to dismantle Iran's nuclear program, now threatening to intensify its military campaign after yesterday's Iranian missile strike on a hospital in southern Israel. Sources say President Trump has approved attack plans, adding he's getting comfortable with the idea of the U.S. taking out Iran's underground Fordo nuclear plant. But the so-called bunker buster bomb that would be used is unproven on the battlefield. The White House says the decision on whether to strike will come down to whether diplomacy is still on the table.
The president hears all voices across the country, and he makes decisions based on his instincts.
Critics are warning of deja vu, questioning U.S. and Israeli intelligence, drawing comparisons to the lead-up to the war in Iraq in 2003. This past March, National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard told Congress that U.S. intelligence did not believe Iran was actively building a nuclear weapon.
And yet we've got from the president a complete dismissal of that intelligence.
Yesterday, the White House saying Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a couple of weeks.
Iran has all that it needs to achieve a nuclear weapon. All they need is a decision from the supreme leader to do that.
A new poll finds 60% of Americans say the U.S. should stay out of the conflict. Sources say a key factor in the timing of Trump's decision is the time needed for additional U.S. military assets to arrive in the region to defend U.S. bases vulnerable to an Iranian attack.
And here in Paris, French President Emmanuel Macron says Europe will push for a negotiated solution to the conflict, but expectations for any breakthrough are low. Inez de la Cotera, ABC News, Paris.
And that leads us to your viewer poll. We want to know, do you think the EU will reach a nuclear deal with Iran? 7% of you say yes, and 93% of you are doubtful. Thank you for taking part in our viewer poll. Victoria's got a mosquito mess on its hands after a week of heavy rain, and it's more than just itchy. It's a real health concern. While crews hit the streets with extra spray, one local nonprofit is thinking about folks who can't just head inside. The Humility Project is putting together mosquito bags with items to help people experiencing homelessness fight off the buzz. Their founder says a few small things can go a long way when you're living out in the open.
A little bit of an assortment of things that might be able to help fend off the mosquitoes. So these bracelets with some oils on them that drive away the mosquitoes. The old-fashioned idea of using dryer sheets, because you can also use them for people who have pets that are outside. You can rub them on your pet so that way the mosquitoes stay off of them as well. As those kind of things, any kind of mosquito-borne, blood-borne illness is dangerous, and like I said, when you're unhoused, you can't escape from that.
City crews were back spraying for mosquitoes this week, and Victoria Parks and Recreation is focusing first on the southern and central parts of the city, with work happening early in the mornings and late in the evenings over the next few days. Still to come on Sunrise, we hear from a local advocate organizing an important celebration of self-love, respect, and identity in downtown Victoria. Time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Benjamin. Want to wish you a happy 7th birthday, Benjamin, from Mommy, Jason, Sebastian, Danny, and Leilani.
Oh, look at that sweet picture. Happy birthday, Benjamin. And hello, is it me you're looking for? Because he's celebrating a birthday. 4-time Grammy winner Lionel Richie is 76 today. Happy birthday, Lionel. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, just come to crossroadstoday.com, click on the drop-down menu, then click the Home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo. Carolina was laughing at me in the background.
I am. We tried to listen to some Lionel so you could get the rhythm.
That's right.
All right, the time is now 6:47 on our Friday morning, on our summer solstice Friday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today, and happy birthday if you're celebrating one this weekend.
That's right, or this weekend. Happy birthday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Friday. It's weekend time, y'all, and I hope y'all are ready for some more summer heat because like what we were saying earlier, today is the summer solstice. So this is the first day of astronomical summer, but meteorological summer began June 1st. And if y'all haven't noticed, it's been a little bit hot. We're looking for a high of about 92 today, looking at your almanac. Here in Victoria, 93 is our average this time of year in Victoria, so it's pretty much right where it should be, but our record was only pretty recent, set back in 2022 on this date. 101 degrees, and it's a good thing we're not that hot because we would see some atrocious heat disease. Today we do still have that 30% chance for rain residing for maybe some tropical showers, which we'll look at in a second again. But it's good news, but it's also sort of bad news because we are already 3.5 inches over where we should be in terms of annual rainfall so far. But over the weekend time, the rain chances are going to dwindle down to slim to none, 10% chance for Saturday and Sunday because high pressure airflow underneath high pressure systems is sinking. So what's going to happen is this high pressure system is going to sort of build over our heads in Texas for the weekend time, and that's going to inhibit and limit shower development for the weekend time. But then it's going to slowly shift eastward, starting to slowly slide into the Atlantic as we go into late next week, and that's going to put us on tropical watch as we go into late next week and into the first week of July. But nothing is out there right now. That's definitely good news. But also good news, we're going to continue watching all this big old plume of tropical moisture that broke off of Hurricane Eric yesterday, because this is exactly what's going to bring us the rain chances for today and all of next week. And we're going to look at all of that and more later on Sunrise.
Timmy Wendowski, a local advocate and a member of Pride Victoria. Welcome, Timmy. I'm so excited to share this celebration with you.
Yes, as am I.
So, upcoming Pride event, it's moving back to downtown Victoria. We've had it on the university campus for the last couple of years. Talk to us about why was it important to bring it back to downtown?
Well, you know, being downtown Victoria is just like a staple. There's so much that goes on. It just shows community, and that's what we're about here. So bringing it back downtown has been, you know, been very special. And the Pride events we've had in the past downtown, they had a great success, and they seem to be growing. And it seems like that's kind of our spot for this Pride event.
I remember going to the first one that was held downtown, and it felt so safe. It was so nice to have police officers there, and you know, in the event of any anti-Pride protesters, things like that. So it's important to have a safe environment, and I know so many people in our community are thankful to you and your team for investing in this celebration. I know that it's been a long time coming, like this plan.
Right. So LGBT Victoria has been going for, this is its 19th year. The Pride events had been a bit smaller. They'd have them at the park, they'd have a movie night, they'd have something just to celebrate. But I feel that we're kind of earning our place in this community and showing, you know, showing that our community is involved. We love to give back, and yeah, so it's been really good.
And you've really got the heart of our community that's going to be part of this event. You've got several nonprofits getting involved.
Yes.
It's not just a money grab, right? It's not just about people making money.
Right.
It's about getting the word out about what resources are available, what support is available, and the community you may be missing out on.
Right, the community has really come together, and you know, we also are a nonprofit, so this is a fundraiser for the organization, and everything that we make goes back into it. That's how we put these events on. Just like you said earlier about the officers, like we have to pay for these officers, and there's so much that goes into hosting and putting on these events, but our community really comes through. We have multiple people who constantly support and donate every year, friends, clients, and just people within the community. So,
well, let's go ahead and share those details. It all starts at 4 p.m. on Saturday and goes on until 10 p.m. It's a 6-hour party.
It really is a party. We have so many great vendors and food trucks. We have performers. I think we have 8 queens this time.
Well, I want to thank you so much for everything you do for our community, and just I hope that it's a great
Yes,
event.
it will be, and I hope to see you there.
Yes, I hope to be there too. All right, well, coming up, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. Two major U.S. airlines are suspending flights to the Middle East amid escalating conflict in the region. United Airlines has paused daily flights between Newark and Dubai, while American Airlines has adjusted its schedule between Doha and Philadelphia through June 22nd. Both carriers say they're closely monitoring the situation and will update plans as needed. The Food and Drug Administration wants to cut drug approval time. The commissioner of the FDA, Marty Makary, says the current regulatory framework creates obstacles with drug approvals that sets the U.S. back. Makary suggests modernizing the process by creating the Commissioner's National Priority Voucher, which would shorten the time the FDA approval has to endure from 10 to 12 months to 1 to 2 months. Pope Leo XIV urged world leaders to seek peace in his first one-to-one media interview since his election last month. On Thursday, the Pope told Italy's public broadcaster that he's following what's going on around the world, and it's truly worrying. The Pope renewed his appeal for peace at all costs. He encouraged world leaders to work together to find solutions because innocent people are dying. We want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. And I hear our very own Lupi Zapata is going to MC that Pride Fest. Are we going to have good weather tomorrow for Pride, Parker?
Yes, actually, we've got rain chances cutting down to about 10%, so I think we're going to have some good viewing weather for any of the Pride events happening this weekend. In fact, looking live in Victoria, we already have a beautiful sunrise coming over the coast this morning, so if you're headed out the door for any of your Friday activities, maybe apply some hairspray because it's really humid out there. That humidity can affect your hair, but it's real warm, so stay cool and hydrated. And it's going to be another warm one today. We'll look at your forecast in a second because I want to let y'all know we do still have just a few spotty light showers, light sprinkles out there. One of them moving through northern Wharton County right now. But our two main showers that we're right now tracking is one heading towards Ottawa over the next 10 minutes, and we have one that's heading just east of Skidmore, heading up towards Beeville over the next 10 minutes as well. But I'm going to go ahead and say, everybody, go ahead and get that umbrella out today because we have a 30 to 40% chance in our inland counties, 10 to 20% chance to see those showers on the coast between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. today, but a high of 91 in Port Lavaca, a little bit warmer, but the same time frame in Victoria, 92 today, and the same timing for all of that in Cuero, and the same thing, 92 as well. But get used to that 92 because we're going to be we're going to be pretty much looking at 92 degrees for the next several days. Rain chances kind of dwindling this weekend, but they're right back on top of us for Monday and all of next week.
All right, thank you, Parker, so much. And
of course.
Thank y'all for joining us this morning. Join Shauna, Dawn, Maclovia, and Max today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. Have a solstice.